Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and today I want to pay tribute to Mike Howe. He was a singer of one of my favorite bands, Metal Church, and he recently passed away at the age of 55. So Mike Howe joined the Metal Church in 1988, replacing David Wayne. And his first album was A Blessing in Disguise, and that's going to be like the subject matter of my video today. I'm going to do a review of this album. So Blessing in Disguise was released on February 7th, 1989 on Elektra Records. Now the album also featured Craig Wells on guitar, John Marshall on rhythm guitar, Duke Erickson on bass, and Kirk Arrington on drums. And the album was produced by Terry Date, and he was a producer. He also worked with Dream Theater and Soundgarden and many other bands.
My first introduction to the band was from the music video for Badlands that I watched on MTV's Headbangers Ball. It was such a cool music video with a desert landscape and camera pans down a desert highway. The sound was very intriguing for me. It was almost like a power ballad with the clean guitars. It was heavier than hair metal, which was a genre that I was listening to at most of the time, but it was not quite as heavy as thrash metal. It was most like progressive metal, similar to the band Queensrÿche, which was another band that I was listening to at that time. It was because of this band that I went out and bought the CD, Blessing in Disguise.
So the album has 9 songs and a runtime of 54 minutes, so let me talk about them now. The album starts out with Fake Healer. The opening riff to the song, it is very heavy. This is almost like thrash metal, but the vocals are a lot cleaner, moves at a slower pace, and the lyrics are very descriptive. Mike Howe, he describes like a lot of like people in the medical community, like quack doctors or healers, and he also like talks about like the high cost of like healthcare. Remember this was back in like 1989. It was kind of like a different time, but these things still exist. And this is a really good song. It's a really great album opener, and they actually re-recorded the song with Todd Latour. He was the current vocalist of Queensrÿche. Actually, I like that newer version a lot better, and you can find that on YouTube. The next song is called Rest in Pieces, April 15th, 1912. And that's the date of the sinking of the Titanic, and that's the subject matter of this song. The song has one of the best drum intros. You have to listen to it with headphones. And just because it just moves back and forth between like the left and right channel, and like you can literally like feel the drums like swirling in your head. I remember back in 1989, I had like one of these cheap Walkmans with those like headphones with those big like cushions on them. If you remember those, and I just always used to like put on those headphones when I would listen to the song. But it's a heavy, really heavy, great song. Has some really nice crunchy riffs, some really great power chords. The song does go through like a tempo change after about like 2 minutes. That's pretty cool. Gets a little proggy, goes into that like prog metal territory, and this has some pretty cool like traditional metal riffing like throughout, about like halfway through the song. So this is another good one. Next is Of Unsound Mind, and this is based on Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart. Another good song. It's a little faster than the other ones. Lots of crunchy riffs. They do kind of play around with like the left and right channels again. When you listen to the chorus, you can kind of hear like the backing vocals like in one channel. That's pretty cool. It's another good headphone song. After about a minute and a half, the song really gets really fast, goes like full thrash metal, goes right into this like really crazy solo, so that's pretty cool. Next is Anthem to the Estranged, and I remember back when I bought this album, I used to like ballads a lot, but I like those like hair metal ballads. But this is like kind of different, maybe more along the lines of the ballad from Testament's Practice What You Preach. I listened to it again, and it's a really good song. And it's just, it is the longest song. I think it is actually their longest song out of all their albums, but it's 9.5 minutes. This is one of those songs that just builds as it like progresses. After about 2 minutes, like heavy guitars and riffs come in, but then the clean guitars come back. So it's one of those like songs where there's lots of heavy parts, lots of clean parts, and they do kind of like come in and out of the song. So you really never get bored like throughout the entire like almost 10-minute runtime of the song. But this is another really good song. Next is Badlands. This one I already talked about, so let me go to the next song. The next song is called The Spell Can't Be Broken. And this album does get really heavy again. They do have like 2 kind of semi-ballads. And then this is another one, just like balls to the wall, lightning speed, guitar riffs, lots of crunchy riffs, crunchy guitars, lots of chords. Really like the galloping riffs during the verse section, and it does have some kind of like progressive metal riffs, during the main chorus. After about 2 minutes, the song slows down a little bit, has some heavy chords come right back into the song. There are still some thrashy riffs and some like faster parts to the song, and there's a pretty cool like twin guitar attack at the like 4.5 minute mark. I really like that part, kind of like very melodic, almost like Judas Priest like. Next is It's a Secret. This is another heavy song, and it's the only instrumental, but it's just a crazy balls to the wall thrash metal instrumental. It just moves at breakneck speed. The drums are really crazy. They just kind of pound away at the drums, lots of heavy riffs. And it's just 4.5 minutes and just crazy, just super fast song. And the last two songs are somewhat a standout ones. So the second to last song is called Cannot Tell a Lie. And this album goes back to its normal pace, and it's just like another heavy song. Probably one of like the thrashier songs on the album, and the song deals with like politics and politicians. And if you do look at the lyrics, you do see some of the issues of that particular time period. Like they talk about Ronald Reagan's Star Wars. That was like a missile defense program, back in the late 80s. They talk about hostages. That was like a big deal back in the 80s. So this is just like another heavy song, lots of like political undertones, and probably one of the better ones. And the last song is called The Powers That Be, and this is kind of like the poppiest song, I guess. I don't know, the opening riff is still kind of heavy, but it's just very like upbeat and has like a happy tone to it. I don't know, it kind of like stands out from the other songs on the album, but it's just very memorable. It's very catchy, pretty good closer. I don't think they released this as a single, but this is probably like the most like radio friendly song, like after like Badlands and Anthem to the Estranged. But it's a little different sounding than the rest of the album, but I do like it, and it is a good closer. So in conclusion, this is a really great album. The band changed direction, like both musically and lyrically. The album did deal with a little more like political and different like types of subject matter. The sound was a little more accessible than the band's first two albums. They did experiment a little bit more like progressive metal, and still kind of kept a little bit of a thrash metal edge. I don't know, maybe you could think of it as almost like a cross between like Metallica and Queensrÿche. Some people have described this as just power metal. Some people have described it as just traditional like heavy metal. As a score, I give it a 9 out of 10. The album really is great. It stands the test of time, and it sounds just as good as it did in 1989. So comment below, let me know what you thought of the album, if you've heard it in a while. This weekend, I have the new album by Dee Snider. I have a collab video with Josh Kish. We will be discussing our top 10 Iron Maiden songs. That will be on Saturday. On Sunday, I will be doing another collab with Brian from AYBL Maine. We will be discussing our top 10 songs by the Scorpions. So please stick around for those this weekend. And that is it. I will put some other videos over here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.